And 3-1 and welcome to Balcony Banter. Thanks for making it over. Thanks for making it over here. Hello, hello, hello. And tonight we're going to be talking about life challenges. Something everyone is familiar with, I guess. Yes, life challenges, what they are, what they could be, what you think they are, what is the most challenging at the moment, maybe in your life. And also we're going to be looking at, possibilities, how to overcome them maybe better. So, yes, we already have a few people here in our chat, and I'm just going to go through quickly to say hello to everyone. So Eugene McGeever was the very first one. So hello, hello, hello. Then we got It's Craig. We got Ian Miller. And we got Ian Miller not only in the chat, but he's also live on the screen. Hello, Ian Miller.
Hiya. Hi, everybody.
Hi. And we got Tim and Chris. Yes, of course. It's the Balcony Banter couple. Hi. Thanks for making it over, everyone. And we got Derek Walker. We got Heather McCarthy. We have Marie Alty. Heather McCarthy again, and Marie Elton. Hello. And we got a lot more coming. Thelma Brindley and many, many more are going to join shortly, I guess. So thanks, everyone. It's the first Wednesday of the month, and it's November. And Ian and I, we have been, talking about actually when we did start the lives on my channel. I don't really remember. It must have been around April, I think. And as we were talking about that, it was challenging in the beginning, and it's getting more and more, automatic or, easier. Let's put it that way, and much more fun. So, we're going to be talking about life challenges tonight. Let us know in the chat also what your life challenges are. Maybe at the minute, the ones that you have faced in your own life, and how you coped with them the best way. And let's all just have a great discussion tonight and see how we can maybe uplift and help one another. All right. So how are you guys? Shall we start with Ian? Because Ian hasn't been on every single time. So I'm very glad that you are back in the house, Ian. Let's see.
No, thank you very much. Yes, it's a challenge to come back into the house again after you've been out for a wee while. But no, you live with it. It's certainly not a very nice night here. It's nice for the ducks, but not for the human beings. It's out walking about. In other words, it's pouring down. I'm needing some sun. So I'm just looking forward. I'm looking forward to a trip to Tenerife soon. So
good. You're gonna soak it up all the way.
Yeah, definitely. I'm coming out to get myself well and truly suntanned.
Good. Like a lizard in the sun. That's what you need.
Yeah. Why not? It's,
of course. Yeah. So I'm glad that you are back on screen with us, and I'm sure everyone in the chat is going to feel the same about it. All right. So Chris and Tim, how are you guys?
SSDD.
Okay.
SSDD.
Yeah. Do you want to say it, what it means? But I'm not going to say it.
No, we're not going to say it. You're going to say it.
What it means. Same shit, different day.
Yes, that's it.
Oh, great. Just name it. But
we've had a lazy day today, haven't we, kid?
Yeah.
I went for a walk this morning in Alcalá and took me drone with me, so I've got some pictures for Freaky Friday to show you. And Chris meditated, didn't you, kid?
Yeah. And I'm having problems with my iPhone at the moment.
Yeah, it's got that the ghost touch bug. because I think it's been dropped.
A few times.
So it's like a ghost bug, which means that it's like somebody else is doing it. We thought it was like your uncle trying to get in touch, wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay, so no, it's not like a Halloween scam.
No.
It really happens. So this morning, Tim went out for a walk and nothing worked. And then there came a message and I couldn't read it because it was so small.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have music for a while.
Yeah, the message when I got home says there's a message, and I didn't want to press anything because I didn't know what it said. And it says, "Do you want access to the external speaker? Yes or no?" So if she'd have pushed no, then she wouldn't have had anything. But if she had pressed yes, it would have played.
Yeah,
Oh, I know you can't read it. I know.
So Chris, is that a life challenge for you? I mean, because you rely so much on this little device, basically, and it has become a huge part in your life to live with that little device.
But sometimes it works. And I had music this morning and just couldn't change it. So I listened to the one thing.
Yeah, she listened to Baby Shark 784 times.
No, wasn't that bad.
And you felt very close to your to Malika, right?
Yeah.
In the end, it stopped altogether. And it was just quiet. And I found out that isn't so bad.
Oh,
Stay in your bed. It's quiet.
it's quiet. All right, that's interesting, isn't it? And it wasn't so bad after all. The quiet
I learned
moment.
something new.
Yeah.
Because we're used to be entertained all the time.
Yeah, very much caught up, right?
Yeah.
So that gives you actually a possibility to shut up the surroundings.
Yeah.
It wasn't really on purpose, obviously, but it wasn't intended to be like that. But you made the best out of it, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Ian, can I ask you what are some of your challenges that you have been facing, and how do you maybe cope with them?
Yeah. Well, what I'll start with actually is why I thought about this. This was something that cropped up in conversation just last week. It's funny when you have conversations with people about different things to say, "Oh, that was a challenge," what was it? So that's one of the reasons why I came up with this tonight. It's like everything else. I know in the present day, there's many, many, many challenges. But if you go back in life, we're always challenging, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
You think about it from the day that we came into this world, we're facing challenges in our different forms of life. As a baby, you face a challenge. You've got to learn to walk and you've got to learn to speak.
Yes. True that.
Yeah, so that's a small challenge. It's something that gets implanted in your memory, how you walk and how you talk. You get up in life and you child, you go to school. That's another challenge for you.
Oh, yes.
I would say that's a big challenge for many people. There's a lot of youngsters love going to school. Some of them didn't like going to school. So to me, that would be a big challenge for some of them. Mm-hmm. You learn through your school years. That's another challenge for you. You're always learning. probably you go on, you're a student, you're learning more. That's challenging. You're always challenging your mind. You're always putting more and more information into your mind. It's a challenge to absorb all that.
Yes.
Your workplace, that's another one. And obviously your adult life, you're well programmed by that time. So that's a good challenge there. I would like to think in your early years, you get a lot of guidance from your parents and your teachers and your instructors and everything like that. They help you along the way, so that makes the challenge easier for you. But in your later years, you've got to overcome your challenges yourself through your education, things that you've learned. So,
is that always so? Do you think it's always the case that that you have to overcome as an adult everything on your own or by yourself?
Yeah. As an adult, you've faced all your challenges. You've got your information there. Your information's implanted on you, but it's still a challenge as an adult because you're always facing different things, probably bigger challenges in your life. Especially in this day and age, when you think about it, I'll just mention the cost of living and that's what people don't like. Speaking about, you have to speak about it. It is a challenge, and unfortunately, it's a challenge for many, many people. What do? You've got to sit down and think about it logically, so that it doesn't affect your mental health and things like that. It is a big challenge for many people.
I would also say that yes, you mentioned the early years, like as a kid, those challenges that you faced as a kid, I think they are also huge challenges, because back then I can imagine, I mean, I don't really remember how I learned to walk, but I guess it must have been a huge challenge way back then to do that and to be able to do that. So according to your age or lifespan or life period where you are in, that challenge adapts sort of like. And the purpose of challenges, I mean, it's always, if we like to look at it this way, it's growing. And there is this great expression, I think, growing pains.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we yes, we don't grow easily, that, or else everyone would be growing, right? But we grow by learning, by failing, by overcoming bad times, by strengthening our muscles physically, or most importantly our mental muscles.
Yep.
So attitude, and there is an attitudinal muscle. That one is also one that can be strengthened, so that we can be the best prepared for some challenges that come up throughout our lifespan. So yes, let me just go through some of the comments here, what you guys are saying. Let me see. There is life after redundancy is a challenge. Yes, Evie, that's true. And Anne-Marie is saying life is full of challenges and always a learning curve. Yes, but with the right support and teaching, we can overcome most of them. Yes, exactly. And doesn't mean that it changes or it stops the help. Sometimes it seems like we are always alone, but as an adult, and we have to sort of like figure it out on by ourselves. But it's not always the case. I think oftentimes it's our own inner pig dog overcoming to ask for help.
Yeah. I see. I actually see some coming up there. That says just something I thought about there was a loss. You lost your job, or somebody actually mentioned that there. You can actually an opportunity, a relationship, and loss to me is inevitably part of life. You lose something or not.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Another one is what I think about there is failure. I mean, let's face it, there's not a single person alive who hasn't experienced a failure in their life.
Yes.
Failure, you learn from your mistakes. And someone just actually just
yes, Marie
Alti. Yes. Life is full
but you
of
only
challenges.
learn from your mistakes.
Sorry, Tim.
You only learn from your mistakes.
You do. That's it.
I think that's trial and error. And I think when I was in America, they used to say try and error, but it's trial and error is the best way to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you learn also from like setbacks in your life or things that you're doing, unforeseen circumstances, for example. You learn from that as well. Things like that. It helps to present you on a journey to be a better person at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love the comment Denise Pearson makes about doing things the next year, but then never do it, and it's sometimes too late. Yeah. So exactly, don't really put it off. I also love, and I think Denise, you guys moved up to the north of the island. It is a step. A huge step to go and live in another country, and Tim and Chris have done it. I did it. You guys obviously were a bit older than I was, and sometimes the older you get, the more hardcore is the belief system we have. And we have those beliefs. It's too late. What if? And then all those what ifs are much heavier and much stronger, and destroy that little possibility plant. Basically, that little plant that says, "Oh, it could be nice, and it can be done. What do I need? Let's write down all the possibilities that how it could be. How does it look like? How do I picture my life maybe abroad? How do I go about it? What do I need? Who do I need to ask help, advice from? I mean, those are all questions we need to dare and ask ourselves, and do that on a regular basis. How did you guys go about that, Tim and Chris?
Well, basically, what happened to us is we found out early on that if you change your life more often, your lifetime becomes longer. And the life challenges, that's living life. So if you avoid the challenge, or you try and do something exactly the same, or you stay in the comfort zone, then it's nice to be comfortable, but when you look backwards, your life is very short. And so the more challenges you have, the more challenges you overcome, and the more variety you have in life, we find it on retrospect, it feels like a much longer and fulfilled life than if we'd have just stayed. I mean, if I'd have stayed where I was, I would never have met Chris, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's full of possibilities. Yes. And it's helping when you have dreams. We were talking a few weeks back. We were talking about dreams and maybe also seeing dreams as goals.
Yeah.
Those are worthwhile goals and dreams to have. So no matter the age you have, I think it's always good to still dream and being honest with your own self. Who is the pig dog? Who is shutting down that little dream plant? Who is actually the one telling it off and not making it grow? Do you water? Do you water your little dream plant, or do you not give it any water or fertilizer? Right? I mean, I always love talking about little plants, and Ian, I know you are the big gardener here, so you can relate.
I was just listening to you there. Yes, it's a challenge to give them the right water and give them the right fertilizer so that they can talk to you properly. A quick one, Evie Blue. You have to change a negative into a positive. That is a challenge.
I love that one. And how do you do that?
You use optimism. And I think the other thing you can do is to see the benefits in everything that happens.
Yeah.
And if you don't see it straight away, just keep looking, because there will be a benefit. Some people might even say that it is a plan. It could be God's plan for you, and that's how religious people explain it to me. Is that everything happens for a reason. And I don't personally believe that, but I think that you can make the decision to find something good in every situation without having to believe that everything happens for a reason. But I think that's how some people will deal with it. But basically just look for positive. And if there's nothing positive in it, then you find out, can I change it? And if you can change it, then do something about it. And if you can't change it, I always remember my father saying, if you have a problem, solve it. And if you cannot solve it, it ceases to become a problem. It becomes a situation over which you have no control. So forget it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something you can, yes, as you said, either change it, or if you can change it, you can also see what you can learn from it. And for maybe the next journey or the next stop on the journey. And yes, it's a very good comment, Evie. Thank you for that. The negative to a positive. And yes, oftentimes we are very much in tune with our negative side. That's just human nature. Not everybody is such a positive person straight away, and that is also absolutely fine. The only thing is that it has to do a lot with attitude, and a better attitude helps you go through life easier. So it's only our stinking thinking that is oftentimes in the way, and it's and thinking, a thought can always be changed. It's something you can personally control. So there might be situations that that you think, oh my God, this goes out of hand, and this is not in my in my circle of control, where I cannot do anything about it. But you can always work on your own attitude towards it, towards that problem, towards that challenge and situation. So yes, there are a lot of things right now at the moment, prices going up, maybe loved ones that leave our lives, relationships that break, fall apart, things like that. Those are huge life challenges in adult lives. Kids have major other life challenges to overcome. Talking about school life can also be very overwhelming and challenging, and it helps to have a better attitude. And attitude is always something. I always like to see it as a composite of not only one thing. What is attitude? You cannot really say what it is if you look at the word. Sometimes it's easier said, change your attitude. But what is it? What you're actually changing? So it's thoughts that need to be changed, feelings that need to be changed, but that goes with your thinking. If we change the thinking about a certain thing, then obviously we also change inevitably our feeling about it. And then this feeling, that better feeling, also results in better action that we take, maybe clearer action. And it's always coming back to self love. Actually, having a better attitude is doing yourself much better, and it's soothing and healing your own stinking thinking, as I like to call it.
You actually touched on something there. It's you can challenge yourself. You challenge yourself to be healthy in your life. You can also challenge yourself to be reasonably fit in your life. And the best thing I always think about it is you challenge yourself to be happy in life. So I mean, if you're healthy and fit and you're happy, you've met a good part of your challenge.
Plus, I think the other way around, Ian, is that the way that Christina approaches life is also, for me, a miracle. You know, I mean, it's too easy to be negative when you feel like something's going wrong, and Christina's like, I mean, how do you do it? It's basically, I mean, there's a couple of comments there from Stephen was saying, life in general can be challenging with so many happy experiences in your past. You expect life to get better. That's not always the case. And Heather McCarthy saying, I feel like my elderly neighbour. I visit my elderly neighbour quite a lot, and she can be a very negative person. So listening to her can be very challenging at times. So how do you stay positive with all the challenges that you face?
I just found out that it's easier to imagine yourself as a big soul, not a person.
So your inner spirits, basically.
Yeah.
And it's not the body that you're in.
No.
It's just you're a soul. The guy in the bar said I was a soul as well.
Absolutely.
I think that was it.
You're a soul man.
I'm an asshole man.
And my biggest thing is that I'm not afraid of dying.
That's true.
Like many people, I look forward to it.
That helps a lot, Chris. Yes, and you're touching up on a very important thing there. I mean, yes, you're touching upon fear. And yes, one of our biggest fears, or one of the fears in our lives, is maybe the fear of death. So
Yeah.
if you're not afraid of it, right? If you sort of like turned on the light there, hey, I'm not afraid of you anymore, then it's easier to actually live with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like, well, been there, done that. It's sort of like out of the way. So you can actually focus on something that is more livable and lovable, and yes, more valuable maybe as well, opposed to occupying all your thinking with oh my god, this could end up me dying,
Yeah.
right? So yes, there are a lot of good comments here, and I'm actually way back. That comment Heather made is a very good one as well, and I put it on screen. I think we can relate to that, many of us, even though we have maybe good intentions with helping people, or just listening, or just being there. Yes, a negative surrounding can be very overwhelming, so much even that we have to kindly excuse ourselves and say, okay, well, yes, maybe I cannot spend too much of my precious time with that person that is spreading a negative vibration. And that's fine too. That's healthy boundaries, as I call them. And I like to call them that. There's no shame about that, to excuse yourself when you need time for yourself, or try to improve your life, or put yourself on a better path in your own life. So
I was only getting a drink.
yes, you were on a very good path, right?
Well, excellent path. Yes, I
Yeah.
excused myself.
Yeah. Okay. So Stephen says, I think life in general can be challenging with so many happy experiences in your past. You expect life to get better and better, but that's not always the case. Yes, that is a good one as well. And it's like chasing only the good times. That can be also not very real. It's just part of life, that it's like a wave, and it goes up and down and up and down. And the better we stay flexible, and the better we adapt to life situations, whether good or bad, enjoying the highs, and yes, and learning from the lows, the better we can actually cope with that, I guess. Yeah.
Plus, I mean, it also gives you something to focus on in life, something on the positive side to focus on. Keep your mind focused on something, which is a good challenge to
Yes.
to your mental state.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ellie Bennett says, sometimes you need negatives to appreciate the positive. Yes, life is designed to have negative and positive. We are all made up of that, and so is life, and the circumstances, and the conditions, and a good attitude, or being or becoming more aware of our attitude, of our thinking, feeling, and acting, is helping throughout that process, that maybe the negatives aren't that long, or that you sort of like adapt an inner knowing, a faith that there will be yes, there will be sunshine again, or there will be better times coming up. So that's just how life is. There are so many very good comments actually tonight. I'm glad you are putting it out, everyone here.
I would like to ask the guys out there, in your challenges when you were successful, what was your feeling, and how did you feel mentally when you were successful in your challenge?
Dopamine.
Hey,
Dopamine.
Dopamine, exactly.
Dopamine. Chemicals.
Yep. And a drink, right? Cheers.
Cheers, biggies.
Yes, dopamine is, yes, exactly. It's happy hormones, right?
Happy hormones.
Helping a lot. Yes. How do you feel? That's a good one, Ian. I like that one. Maybe focus more on how you want to feel, right? I mean, we remember good times in our lives. We all have those good times, and we yearn for them. So so how do we want to feel? If we can focus on that, that brings us already on a different level of frequency. Before we were talking about vibration and good vibes and bad vibes. So so we are all on a level of frequency, and if we want to feel better, then we have to sort of like switch our channel. We cannot expect to receive the same on AM as on FM. So we need to change that level of frequency to be on that level.
You get a better signal.
Yes, exactly. A better signal. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm missing the comments.
Oh, Pete and Shelley say hi, Julianne, and everyone just popped in to give your channel some support. Oh, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. And there are still 37 watching.
38.
Thank you so much. 38?
Well, what I did, I forgot, it's my fault. I forgot to put it up on the channel. So I just did it now. So I just shared it now. So you should expect a few more people to come in now.
Okay, good.
39
Thank you
now.
so much. Okay, Denise is saying, unfortunately, sometimes you can change what life dishes you out, and Christine is a shining star. Yes, absolutely. With that, life has dealt me this hand, if cards, so I'll deal with it, and we admire her for that. Absolutely.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
But that's what I was saying as well, is that even though Christina's illness it was a shock to us and changed our lives totally, it actually brought us, and we met you. So it's without Christina being ill, we wouldn't be here in Tenerife. Without being in Tenerife, we wouldn't know you two guys. We wouldn't have a YouTube channel, and we wouldn't know any of the thousands of people that subscribe to the channel. So,
absolutely.
Where do you when we look back, if you're happy right where you are right now, everything that has ever happened to you has brought you to this point. So if you're happy, great. If you're unhappy, I go back to what I said before, change it, and it doesn't have to be a dramatic change like leave the country and go and live somewhere else. It could be a small change. But you have to decide to change, because doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome is the first sign of insanity.
Exactly. And yes, and decide. Exactly. Decide to do it, and go little steps or move in the right direction.
Yeah.
in the right direction where you want to go.
We
And then-
always made big decisions, haven't we?
Yeah.
We just said, shit or bust, let's do something
Very quick.
and very quick, yeah.
That's
And
a very
also
good advice.
And we don't suffer under the duress of feeling like we need to think about other people. Other people can look after themselves, and you find out very quickly who thinks about you and who doesn't. So we left the country, and we had a really close-knit friend circle, didn't we? Not one of them called,
Right. Yeah.
So don't think, oh, well, I'm going to leave behind my grandchildren, or, oh, I'm going to do this, so I can't, because it just makes you as if you're the center of the world, and you are the center of your world. But if you realize that you're not the center of the world, and that people will get on without you, and when you die, they're going to have to do it anyway, so you might as well enjoy yourself. So make the decisions based on what you want. And if you're happy, all the people that love you will be happy too.
Absolutely. And the right ones will support you. And if they're not the right ones, they're not the right ones. So that's easy. And that's also part of the lifelong learning we always talk about.
John Lennon. It'll be all right in the end. If it's not all right, it's not the end.
As Stephen's come in, being successful gives you a natural high stroke buzz. It's multiplied if others thank you or congratulate you. There was another one I spotted. Tina Rigby. I always say, as one door opens, one door closes, another door opens. That's a true saying.
Yes, exactly. Yep. I love that one. Love it.
Yep. Hey, Ray Duffy, good to see you on the channel, my friend. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hey, Ray.
Don't forget all the 43 people that are watching right now. Don't forget to subscribe to Juliani's channel. It was my fault that I didn't tell you we were on Juliani's channel tonight early enough. And so if you subscribe to the channel, ring that little bell, then you'll get a message every first Wednesday of the month to come over to Juliani's channel for Balcony Banter. Thanks for all your support, guys.
Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for coming over to my channel. And yes, every Wednesday of the month, first Wednesday of the month, we're live on Juliane Nendel. And all the other weeks on a Wednesday at 5:55, we're on the balcony. On the balcony, yes, absolutely. So
it's gone dark very quickly, hasn't it, Juliani?
Oh yes, and look, I still have my my Halloween light.
I like that
one.
You celebrate.
I learned how to say Samhain. Was it Samhain? Samhain. Samhain is the Halloween in Irish, in Gaelic.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Samhain.
All right.
What is it in Scottish? Halloween.
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 Just straight Halloween.
Halloween.
Oh yeah, don't forget Madgie's birthday today. I hope she had a great birthday and she's still celebrating. Ray Duffy's missus has a birthday today. We sang happy birthday this morning on my morning walk. Do you want to sing again?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Madge. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Madge. This is live, huh? Yes,
we're live.
Live. Yes, and
live,
it's live.
Done really done now.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think there's a Kalima on at the moment because it's very misty and it's gone warm all of a sudden.
It's very warm here, absolutely.
This morning it was really warm.
Yeah, the wind changed while I was walking in Alcalá, and it went up like 5 degrees in 2 seconds. And breakfast, it was 32 degrees in the shade.
Yes.
Well, brunch, midday.
And the same as the weather changes, so does life change all the time. And it's good, isn't it? Gives us
Yeah.
something to do and and adapt to life and weather. Like I always like to see those life challenges as little helpers as well. I remember when I came here to the island, I did not speak any Spanish at all, and I was very comfortable with just speaking German and English throughout my first year here on the island. That was something I felt very comfortable with. But then I felt, all right, now it's time to actually grow and to overcome those challenges I had with the Spanish language. And yes, the first year it was a lot of dictionary work and sitting there with people and dictionary or phone. Translating, and it can be very monotone. But yes, it's something you grow into, and over time through repetition as well, repeating words, listening more to maybe conversations, that helps as well, growing into the new challenge, growing into something new, repeating the same over and over again, that you maybe want to learn or want to feel more comfortable with, even as we mentioned before, the positive thinking can be trained as that. So if you notice for your own self that maybe you tend to be more a negative thinker, and it's easier for you to jump on that negative spiral, then you can train yourself to maybe affirm, saying to yourself things that are uplifting, and even writing it down can help a lot in that mental process of repeating and becoming more comfortable with positive thinking, if that's something you would like to learn and to do. Yeah, so
I just
Ian.
put in a link in the chat here to Spanish with Paul, and if you're an English speaker, I think it's an excellent thing to do. And I don't get paid for that, unfortunately, but it's well worth it. In fact, I met a guy who watches the channel, Paul, if you're watching, hi, and he's gone home today. Oh, he'll be in a plane now, so he won't be watching. But he picked it up after I said this is what I use, and now we only speak Spanish together. Two Brits just speaking Spanish. In fact, if you look at the walk on Monday, that was the guy I met outside Nebula.
Mm-hmm. So now you are los dos chicos que hablan español.
Nuestro idioma juntos está español.
Sehr schön. Very good. Yeah. I mean, look, how was it talking about language? How was it for you to become familiar with the German? I mean, that must have been also something, a process for you to feel into. And you found your own little methods. We were talking about that, especially the Bavarian is something that you just hear and copy, right?
I learned German. I started learning German from a book. When I knew I was going over, I actually took lessons. There was like 8 lessons that we took as students. And then after the 7th lesson, she says, "Where are you going?" And we said Bavaria. She said, "Well, it was a waste of time," because she was from Hamburg, you see. So she was teaching us, like, the Queen's German, if you like, and High German, and we were going to Bavaria. So when I got to Bavaria, I realized that I was on a hiding to nothing. I couldn't speak the language, and I definitely couldn't understand it. The good thing was the company I worked for, their official language is English. So I was like, I was all right. So I went to the Irish bar and I spoke English at work. So I didn't need German, basically. And then I met Chris, and then Stephanie was born, wasn't she? And I thought, well, I better start learning German. So the first 2 or 3 years, I didn't even bother. And, you know, you can just be in your bubble.
But Stephanie took the mickey.
She did, yeah. She did. She'd take the mickey out of me German when she was about 5 or 6 or something. We were on holiday.
Yeah.
And she'd take the mickey out of my accent. So, but the way that I learned German was like a kid learns it. I would listen to something, look at the reaction, and then just use the phrase. So the words just went to, I still can't write German, can I?
No.
I never learned the grammar. I can write Bavarian, but I can't write German.
Yeah.
It's
Cheers.
interesting. That it's something I've never thought about. I've never sort of ventured into that. But I remember something that always stuck to me when we went to Ibiza. One of the girls in the hotel where we went to, she got me started. In fact, she was quite strict with me. She says, you learn to speak Spanish. I learn you. And she used to learn me words every time we went out. But again, it just fell away. We didn't have a need for it at that particular time. But I remember it was the challenge that she sent me. She says, you come here, you talk to me, like, you know, and she was learning me the different words and things like that. But I've never, I don't know. It's a different culture now with kids at the school and they're learning languages. I think anyway. I mean, when I was at school, we never even thought about learning different languages, things like that. Like, you know.
It's interesting that you say that, and I always feel you make more of an effort if you actually need the things, and you actually will be needing and using the things to do something greater, better, improved in your life with it, just out of boredom. Maybe people would not learn a language or wouldn't really stick with it. It's the tendency is then to rather drop that, to rather you say, oh yeah, well, if I don't make class today, or if I don't learn this, then it's not such a big deal, right? But if you actually are forced to use it, or you need the certain knowledge for anything, whether language learning or any other life challenge you face, if there's something new that you need to learn in order to get to that next higher step, then and to that next comfortable level, then you make much more, or put much more effort and workforce and spirit into that whole thing.
I mean, don't forget that me going to Germany and tourists coming here, for instance, they have the luxury of being able to speak English and be understood and to be answered in their own language. I mean, it's very arrogant of us as Brits to just assume that everybody speaks English in the world. And that all we have to do is to wave our arms about and speak louder and they'll understand. I think that's pretty arrogant. So I think when you go to a country, you have to at least learn yes, no, please, thank you, counting 1 to 10. Can I have, do you want, goodbye, hello. That's the minimum that I would say you would need to learn in the language. And the other thing is that when you learn the language, you also learn the culture, because the language is part of the culture. And I found that your brain gets rewired in a certain way that I tend now not to think like a typical Brit. I notice that with the people that I interact with here, and I don't think the same as them. And it's because I've spent 25 years in Germany, 5 years in America, and now 8 years here. So I think that if you're up for the challenge, and as you said, if you see a benefit in it, then you're going to do it. If you see no benefit to yourself, then you won't do it. So it's the same with the challenges. I mean, Slimmer Life said, where are we now? You can learn to solve the challenges or accept things that you can't change. Nothing else, no other option. And he also said native English speakers don't need another language. Those in other countries need to learn English to function outside their own country, which is just an example of how arrogant we are.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's funny you say that. I mean, that lady was telling you about there. She actually got me. She actually learned me the basics: hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, things like that. And when the longer we went to Ibiza, when you were out on sort of small tours and that, going around some of the small villages and actually speaking to some of the people that looked after, say, a small museum and that, you begin to understand what they're saying in their own language, even though we were only learning small words, but you were able to appreciate more what they were saying, learning that. But as I say, we didn't have a need for it, because the unfortunate thing about it is, you actually hit the nail on the head there, is you come away from that culture again and you forget all about it. You don't actually revive it until the next time that you go back into that and you start going back and, oh yes, I remember that. And then again, you forget it. If you were in it all the time, you would then grasp it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the only way, really, is to go and immerse yourself. But you need to have the possibility to do that.
Yeah. And of course the courage as well.
I think you're right. You need to make the decision, and a lot of people think it's courageous to make that decision. And I think that the people that think it's courageous are the ones that haven't done it yet. And then you realize the benefits you get in return from making that decision. Then you realize that it's not courageous at all. It is, you actually get a really good benefit from making that decision. So another quote from my dad, Lawrence Allen Dowd, may he rest in peace. He always said, any decision is the right decision. Indecision will come and bite you in the ass.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely, because indecision is creating, or is creating worry and doubt. Yes.
See, that's what Germans can't tell the difference between a soft D and a hard T.
Yeah.
We're talking about languages. There's Alan's homemade vlogs. I talk in Spanish most days when I can. I'm lucky to be able to converse with international students, so I can practice. Yes, exactly what I was saying there. It becomes more easy now. Tina Rigby, I always try to say a few basic words. Order a drink, exactly, in Spanish. Yes, that's about my limit.
Yeah. Good. Yes, exactly. Dare to say things, you know. For instance, I mean, talking about challenges. When we started the lives on my channel, I saw that as a challenge as well. And I am not a native English speaker, so I still feel very comfortable with it, and my feeling is good speaking English. So yes, and I just love it. So if you love what you do, then I think that that also helps a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think in English still, or do you think in German and then translate, or do you think in the language you're speaking?
I think I think more in the language I'm speaking actually, and it always feels like I'm putting in the English disc, and now I'm putting in the Spanish disc, and now I'm putting in the German disc. My mom has been here throughout the last month, and I had to put in a lot of times the German disc. And it's hard because I don't have the occasion to speak German so much and so often. So sometimes with certain words, I'm like grasping and looking. Oh, what does that mean in my own language? And it's quite embarrassing actually, but that's the way it is. So I'm happy that I had the occasion right now to speak my own mother tongue a little bit more often.
I was speaking German last night to Reinhold, one of the neighbors, and we were down in the village, and I was chatting away with him, and then I got up and I went to the bar, and I said behind the bar, I said, I'll have another one of these, and I'll get a small beer and a vodka for Reinhold, please. And she just looked at me and went, what? And I was speaking German to her. So I'd forgotten which mode I was at. I still had my German disc in, and I was going to talk to the barmaid.
There you go.
She heard Reinhold and vodka and got everything anyway.
Mishmash. Mishmash, that's what I love calling it. And Maria Albonos says, I used to advise my students not to be put off learning Spanish and being fearful to speak to the locals. They will appreciate the learner's effort and will help. Absolutely. Yes. Exactly. Gesundheit. Yes. Absolutely. People are helping, and the right ones will always be patient, even though it might take longer to build a sentence, maybe. The right ones will listen. I mean, look, we got 38 people watching and listening here right now.
Exactly. Maybe we're going to do one in German and one in Spanish.
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely. And we invite some of you guys to join us. Yeah. Yes, we are already 59 minutes nearly, or 58 minutes in. So do we have any last words for throughout the following week for our viewers and listeners? Ian, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll just say thank you for everybody for your comments tonight in the chat. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. For the next couple of weeks, I'm just going to sit back and relax and have a wee drink to myself at night. Something for the topics tonight. I'll finish off with out of clutter, find simplicity. From discord, find harmony. In the middle of difficulty lies an opportunity. Grasp it. Thank you, folks.
I love it. Thank you so much, Ian. I love it. Yes. And Chris and Tim, it's all yours now.
What are you looking at me for? You got a chit chat. He who knows not and knows not that he knows not is a fool. Shun him. He who knows not but knows that he knows not can be taught. Teach him. He who knows and knows not that he knows is asleep. Wake him. And he who knows and knows that he knows is a prophet. Follow him.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for all your wisdom. And yes, thank you everyone for joining in tonight. It has been amazing reading all your comments, and absolutely I will go through them again and answer if there's anything to answer. thank you. I wish you all a wonderful week wherever you are, whatever life challenge you are facing right now. Remember to stay, yes, well, not only positive, but to stay kind to your own self and to others, because if we only live in loveless thinking, then nothing in this world will change it to love. So we need some loving thoughts for ourselves and for others to spread more love in this world. So have a good week, everyone, and we see you next. Yes. Oh, wasn't that lovely? Aren't they lovely?
Yeah.
And goodbye, everyone.